Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really fascinating, truly universal mystery of human behavior. Just think about the last time you saw someone commit a seemingly minor social foul. You know, like maybe they let a door slam in your face, or they left their shopping cart sitting right smack in the middle of a parking space. On paper, these are literally tiny blips in our day, but for some reason, they make our blood absolutely boil. We don't just get mildly annoyed, we get furious. So today, we're going to unpack the psychology behind why certain minor moral slips make us so intensely angry, and why we always end up hating the sinner rather than just the sin.
All right, Section 1, the restaurant line cutter. Let's get right into it. To set the stage for this psychological deep dive, I want you to really recall that sudden, intense flash of anger you feel when a stranger breaks a minor social rule in public. We've all been there, right? Your heart rate ticks up, you exchange that wide-eye look of disbelief with the person next to you. Why on earth does someone cutting a line or saving a seat trigger a physiological reaction that feels so completely disproportionate to the crime? Well, to understand this, let's look at a very specific anecdote highlighted in a recent psychological analysis. Paint the picture in your mind. It's a Sunday morning eatery. It's crowded, bustling, super loud. You finally make it inside, but you're still stuck in that anxiety-inducing, agonizingly slow crawl to the cashier. And as you're waiting, you're eyeing the extremely limited number of available tables. Now, to keep the morning chaos in check, this place has a strict, well-known house rule. You absolutely must display your order number on your table before you can sit down.
And then, the inciting incident happens. As our source material vividly captures it, a woman slipped out of line and took a table while her partner, standing right in front of us, pretended not to know her. Can't you just feel the exasperation? I mean, the absolute nerve. They didn't just bend a rule, they orchestrated a whole covert operation to steal a table from the people waiting patiently behind them.
Now, pay attention to the reaction here. The author noted this wasn't just ordinary annoyance. Even though they eventually got their own table, they grumbled about this couple for the entire meal. The anger was intensely personal. It ruined breakfast. And here is the key takeaway for our explainer today. They didn't just view this as someone taking advantage of a loophole. They viewed it as a glaring sign of bad character. They judged these line cutters as people who fundamentally believe they are above the rules of polite society.
Which brings us to Section 2, the 7 moral domains.
So why exactly did this specific event feel so deeply personal compared to other wrongdoings? To answer that, we have to look at the science. There's a fascinating study published in the journal PLOS ONE that perfectly maps out the root of this everyday outrage. Researchers from the University of Michigan and the University of Illinois teamed up to investigate a specific question. Do we give the same psychological weight to all moral acts, or do our social judgments change depending on the actual type of rule being broken?
To figure this out, the researchers divided human morality into 7 distinct buckets. You have family, reciprocity, bravery, hierarchy, equality, property, and unity and communal sharing. Basically, our brains systematically sort every single moral behavior into one of these 7 domains.
Moving on to Section 3, equality and property. Now, it turns out that not all of these moral domains carry the same emotional weight. Out of the 7, the researchers found 2 major categories that consistently trigger our absolute harshest social judgments. The first is equality, which simply boils down to how fairly people treat us. The second is property, which is how much respect people show for our personal belongings and space.
And the contrast here is actually staggering. When they tested reactions to positive and negative behaviors across all 7 domains, a massive divide opened up. If someone breaks a rule in the other 5 domains, like, say, failing to honor a superior in the hierarchy domain, we react pretty mildly. We kind of shrug it off. But equality and property, oh man, they evoke the most intense personal reactions imaginable. We are deeply, deeply invested in fairness and our belongings. When someone respects them, we feel massive gratitude. But when someone violates them, absolute unbridled outrage.
Section 4, judging the character.
To see how we actually form these judgments, the researchers presented participants with hypothetical people who broke rules across the different domains. Then they asked the participants to evaluate them on 3 things. First, are they morally upstanding? Second, was this behavior a reflection of their true character, or was it just the situation? And third, would you be willing to cooperate with them?
And here is the crucial point. When someone violates the rules of family, or bravery, or hierarchy, we tend to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? We say, hey, they must have been in a tough spot, or it was just the circumstances. We forgive it as situational.
But when someone violates equality or property, it's like a switch flips. We immediately blame their inherent disposition. We decide they aren't just having a bad day, they are fundamentally a bad person.
Section 5. The trust penalty.
Now, this harsh character judgment leads straight to a severe real-world consequence. Think back to that couple in the restaurant who bypassed the line and stole the table. Based on that one single interaction, would you let them borrow your car? Would you trust them with sensitive personal information? I'm going to go ahead and guess that's a resounding no.
And this is exactly what the researchers found when looking at human cooperation. They call it the trust penalty. When someone commits a violation in the equality or property domains, participants showed almost zero willingness to cooperate with them ever again. They had far less inclination to trust them with anything of value, and they harbored a lingering resentment that stained any future interaction. It's essentially an instant deal-breaker for human cooperation.
Let's pull this all together in Section 6, the synthesis.
Let's loop back to our restaurant couple one more time. When we break down their Sunday morning crime through the lens of this study, their behavior was basically a masterclass in triggering maximum social outrage. Step 1. They blatantly disregarded the rule of waiting in line. That is a direct equality violation. They essentially declared that their time was more valuable than everyone else's. Step 2. By taking the table, they appropriated the coveted seating that rightfully belonged to the next person in line. That's a direct property violation. So in one swoop, they hit our two biggest psychological triggers.
And that brings us to the core finding of our entire explainer today. This specific combination of equality and property violations is exactly why we judge a person's character so harshly for what seems like a small slip. We take it entirely personally because fairness and respect for our space are the foundational pillars of our daily social contract. When those get disrespected, we don't just see a broken rule, we see a broken person. We completely blame the sinner, not just the sin.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you're out in the world and someone's seemingly minor, rude behavior makes your blood boil, take a step back and ask yourself, did they just break an arbitrary rule, or did they trigger your deeply ingrained evolutionary need for equality and property? Now, understanding this might not excuse their bad behavior, but it definitely helps to code the mystery of our own everyday outrage. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep observing the world around you, and I'll catch you next time.